Hey Tomasi, so you're the outbound manager here at our Las Vegas facility.
Inbound manager. So what I do?
I'm gonna start over. Tomasi, inbound manager, Las Vegas facility. What does that mean? What's your role?
So what we do is we do the day-to-day operations and receiving. So anything that comes in with trucks, basically receive it, make sure it gets its license plate number, then it goes to one of our overstock locations, whether B, C, D. From there, it triggers replan, and then we replenish the product. A little bit of what else we do is load balance as well. So we send out, to our other facilities, balance out our inventory.
Let's talk about the life cycle. Let's talk about the process when what we call them an SP, shipping plan. People call them purchase order. So purchase order is created by the customer. There's a date scheduled. The inbound team books an appointment for when it's going to show up, right? Then it shows up on the dock. Then your team gets involved, right?
Yes. So basically what would happen is we have the shipping plans, purchase orders that come in, they come hit our docks. As soon as they hit our docks, we open these purchase plans, and then we basically go from looking and seeing what product we have, how many we have back order, whatever the case may be for that specific shipping plan. We basically receive the stock in, make sure whether it's allocated to a RSP, RSC, whatever receiving staging location that we have, and then from there we put into overstock. It's a sellable location so that now it triggers and allocates orders so that we can get it replenished.
Yeah, so let's break it down. Let's go a little slower. So product shows up. First we make sure it's the right product, right?
Yes.
Phase one. Phase two, the system tells us how many we want to receive in this building and how many we want to cross-dock to other building.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So once we do that, the inbound product, for the most part, that goes to overstock, right? We don't take new product and put it directly on the pickable shelves. We put them into sellable but unpickable locations in the
overstock location.
Right? That's step one?
Yeah, step one. Yep.
Okay. And then how does your team know to take some of that stock from the pallet racks and put it in the pickable shelves?
So that will then trigger a replenishment. So you can do it one of two ways. Once we get the shipping plan, we can look and see what's back ordered. And then from there, we can know like, okay, we're going to move these RSPs, RCs, whatever they are, straight into a pickable location.
Got it. So if a PO shows up or an SP shows up and you have a back order for, let's say, 20 units, instead of putting it in overstock and then waiting for the replenishment report to tell you to put it away there, you'll just take 20, or maybe you'll take 40 because you're going to need more, and put
100%.
it straight and pickable, and then take the other ones and tag them to go up into the dock, into the
overstock
locations.
Yep.
Okay. And then when you think about how to divide your team, right? So you got receiving, load balance, which is both load balancing off of SPs that came in as well as pulling from the shelves.
Pulling from the shelves.
You've got inventory control, you got replan, right? Where you got to stock the pickable shelves for the pickers. How do you think about limited number of people? Some days are busy. How do you manage that?
So basically what I'll do is I'll just plan the day out. Like if I know on our calendar, we have a Google Calendar, which tells us what freights we got coming. So I'll look at that and see through the day, through the week, through the month, and just kind of play it by that. See what we have coming in, how many people I know I'm gonna have in receiving, then how many operators I'm gonna have to put these into overstock locations. So it all depends, because sometimes we get walk-in replenishments a lot. Replenishment might not be a lot one day, but we might have a lot of receiving. So it's kind of like delegating everybody into those different types of departments, I guess you could say, in inbound, where it's like, okay, you're going to work on load balance today. We need to get a truck out to ABE this Friday, or whatever the case may be. So it's really just delegating the employees in the inbound to make sure that we have enough everywhere.
Right. And how do you think about what you want to do during first shift versus the second shift?
So my biggest goal, like when I get in, is everything that we got coming in, I want to receive it. I want to make sure that it has a license plate number, whether our staging location, and then we get it up into the racks, just so that all the orders, whatever orders we have, back orders, can allocate for those, and we get the replan and get it all out the door. Because the main goal is to make sure that outbound is moving. So whatever we get in, I want to make sure we're proactively looking at it like, okay, we got these back orders. We need to make sure that we put these products out so that we can get the pickers to pick them, and then we just keep cycling it through.
Yeah, normally if pickers say that they're not pulling up orders, we always say it's probably your fault.
It's probably replan, yep, 100%. So I literally, we have a thing here where it's like I tell Brian all the time, if the pickers are telling us that we're not pulling the orders, or he's telling me that, I know it's a replan. So the biggest thing for me is to make sure that I always look at anything that's coming in on SPs that we have that, and then as far as replenishment goes, we always just try to keep it under 10 to make sure that we're we're cruising through it.
Constantly feeding the outbound machine, right?
100%, 100%.
All right. I know things don't always go perfect, right? So what are the sort of the biggest problems that you face in your role?
Biggest problem might be something might come in non-compliant, and it may, as soon as they hit our dock, we might get some of it in, and then it's like it'll allocate the orders, but we still receive some other stuff, but some of those stuff might be non-compliant. We got to wait to make sure we're reaching out to the customer through our WAM and getting that situated. And then those might sit for maybe a day, maybe a week. We don't really know. So a lot of that is a little bit of frustration because it's like when you get something in, you want to get it going. You want to get it off your dock.
Right.
So it's like my biggest goal is to always make sure the dock is empty and whatever's on the dock is accounted for.
Right. Okay. So you sort of halfway through, you try to scan something, doesn't scan, or it's damaged, or it doesn't match the SP, right? So then you got to pause. Right?
Yep.
Now you got all this stock on the dock. The WAM's our warehouse account manager. You ask him or her to like, hey, talk to the customer.
See what's going on.
See what's up. Tell me what to do. And then the product's still sitting on the dock at that point, right? At what point do you say, it's been a while, I need this lane, I need this dock space, I'm going to move this somewhere else, tag it as non-compliant, so I get my dock space back?
So we basically got like 4 flex zones next to our receiving area so that we put our non-compliant there. So whether it sits longer than, I give it 2 days. If it sits longer than 2 days on a dock, I move it straight over to our flex zones, which are non-compliant zones. Then I'm kind of relying on our receiving team, myself as well, to make sure that we're reaching out, following up, hey, just courtesy follow up, what's going on with this, just to make sure it doesn't sit in that non-compliant zone longer than it needs to be.
What's your favorite feature in ShipHero?
The hospital. Like when a picker goes to a location, they flag it. So when they flag it, it's our job to go figure out what's wrong with it. So we'll go there, we'll visit, we'll do maybe a few things. We'll scan the product, make sure the product scans. We'll count it, make sure why the picker flagged it, because they could have flagged it for numerous reasons. The barcode doesn't scan, it's not enough in the location. Maybe need a replan that we didn't get to fast enough. So I think the hospital is good because it proactively lets us know, keeps the team on the feet, where they're like, okay, we need to go action these locations and make sure they become pickable again. Because as you know, if you flag a hospital or you flag the location, it becomes non-pickable.
Right. So yeah, no other pickers get sent there, which means orders can wait if that's the only place the product is.
Yep, 100%.
What have you learned recently that's helped you do your job better?
It's really a mixture thing. I think so. Load balance has helped a lot. I think I spent more time with the load balance team within the last month or two, really just diving in with that and figuring out like how can we get these load balance from our dock straight to our overstock location or pickable locations.
So you're talking about the inbound load balance. So we get a truck from ABE, and you want to get that on the shelf without any work.
Any work, yeah. So it's like you do have your pros and cons with it, but the biggest thing I think is like it makes it so much easier just to literally just scan from one point and then scan right back into your pickable location, So it makes it a lot easier for us to move the product. Like we're not having to receive anything really. We're just really, boom, it's in our system, boom, it goes to a pickable location.
Yeah, even though it's from one building to another, it's actually just an inventory.
Yep.
All right, perfect. So it's been a year that you've been here. What's the evolution been like?
When I first got here, I'm gonna be really honest with you, when I got here, everybody was kind of working anywhere. There was no designated areas. So when we got here, it was, when Ryan got here, it's really just delegating the fact of making sure that we had this approach where it was like, we're gonna designate these areas for certain things. We're gonna clean up our dock, we're gonna put our shelving up, make sure these customers have their inventory here, certain places, A lot has changed. I think the biggest thing is like getting the inventory corrected, cycle counting the building, our full audit, and really just taking ownership of our inventory. I think that was the thing that I was kind of, pulling teeth with when I first got here. It was like trying to figure out what did we have here in the building. And to say a year from now till now, it's like we've came a long way. I can actually say like, if I send someone to a location, I know it's there,
So you have good inventory visibility.
Yeah, 100%.
So what do you want to see improve from now till a year from now?
Honestly, just continue to build off of what we got going here. I think the biggest thing is we're making strides in making room for everything. So we have a lot more customers we're planning to get in. So I want to make sure that we have the capacity to have that. Like we're getting containers left and right. So really just building off of keeping our inventory accurate and then having that space to always keep the customers bringing their product in.
And if you can help train a new person stepping into the role of inventory manager for the first time or inbound manager for the first time, what would you tell them?
I would tell them keep a level head and, continue to just work through it. Inventory never ends, so you're not going to get it all in one shot. So it's something that it's steady evolving. It's always something new. So just keep a level head and just continue to work at it. And it's honestly it's really like a competition really with yourself, trying to make sure that every day you're going to find something new. Every day things might not go the way they did yesterday. So just keep a level head. That's what I'll say.
And the building's definitely improved in the time you've been here. Ryan's been here. I think the team solidified. We've got some good stability, and we've got some really good team members, and the results show. Thank you. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.